have children. I don't go out. I don't have a vote. Yeah.
You can always buy both.
I sure could, yeah. You've seen my wages, right?
No. 39 days today.
That's close. Not close enough in your life, for sure.
I count every day.
Your remaining days of life.
Yeah.
So my daughter was out first night, 27 phone calls and texts between 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. I can't stay here. I don't want to stay at this. My family's going to go. Come back down and get me. I'm scared. So that was it. And last night, and some other shenanigans with some of the girls getting mad at each other. Mine was involved. And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, my phone rang. Dad, I had a bad dream. All these people are running and chasing me. So that's all we can do. And they get me a time. Look at that.
Hi, how are you? Good, thank you.
This is going to go on the book. This isn't your first girl. But I mean, look at
When you said them, did they call okay? When you said them, that's great.
Are you getting a nice grab? This is a big deal.
Have your attention, please. Welcome to the zoning board of July 12, 2016. My name is Marty Akins. I'm the chair to my left. Your right, board members, Mr. O'Brien, Mr. Chin, Mr. Frankel, Mr. Radell. To my right, your left, our clerk, Ms. Murphy. Behind me, the head of inspectional services, Mr. Duper. If you have a cell phone or a pager, please put it on silent or vibrate, not to interrupt the meeting. Anyone want to speak, please step outside. We do not have a microphone system, so speak up so people in the room can hear you. If anyone's going to testify tonight, could you please stand up and raise your right hand? If anyone plans on testifying at all or coming up before this board, anyone, you plan on testifying at all, saying anything, you have to take an oath. Mr. Chin, please.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth this evening?
Yes.
I do. Thank you.
Under old business, case number 16013. I have a letter here that they want to continue this to September 13th, 150, 154 Quincy Ave. Could I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, regarding case 16-013, Facts and Development, LLC, Lawrence Agnetti, member for a variance to construct a 17-unit, 3-story residential development on the premises numbered 150 and 154 Quincy Ave. I'd like to make a motion to grant the requested postponement until September 13th.
Seconded?
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Case number old business, 16026. I have a letter here that they would like to move this to September 13th, 2016. Could I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, regarding case number 16-026, Fresco Associates Incorporated for a special permit to add one residential unit on the ground floor of the existing 6-unit building on the premises numbered 77 to 83 Newberry Avenue, Quincy. I'd like to make a motion to grant the requested continuance until September 13th.
Second?
Second.
On the motion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? So moved. Under new business, case number 16045, William Kiley. He wants to request to move this to August 23rd, 2016. Can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, regarding case number 16-045, William Kiley for a variance to subdivide the existing lot into 2 house lots on the premises number 13 Dundee Road, Quincy. I'd like to grant the request to postpone the hearing until their case until August 23rd.
Is that seconded?
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. If there is anyone here for Quincy Ave, if there is anyone here for Newberry Ave, if there's anyone here for Dundee, the first two will be held September 13th, and Dundee will be held August 23rd. All right? Everyone got that? Thank you. Under new business, case number 16043. Hammond Lee, Christine Lee, for variance to add 1 bedroom to the multifamily for a total of 6 bedrooms on the premises 12 to 14 Bench Street. Is the applicant and representative here? Name and address, please, for the, you get that on? Uh-oh. Hey, there you go. Someone turn on the movie. Who's going to speak? All of you?
I'm here for if anything in translation is lost.
All right. Could you please start with Tammon Lee?
Yeah, my name is Taylor.
Address?
Vijong Drive and number 12 to 14 Ben Terrace.
Do you live there now?
No,
Where do you live?
I live in number 3 Jong Drive, Quincy.
Where?
Number 3
Joan Drive.
Joan Drive?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you here for tonight?
Here for 1 bedroom on the 12 to 14 Ben Terrace. Before the existing is 5 bedroom. And try to add 1 bedroom on the 3rd floor.
And I see all that, I think the board sees it, we went to the property, you're gonna keep the same footprint as there before, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're just changing the inside.
Yes, sir.
You explained the 2 studies downstairs, it looks like you have 4 2-bedroom apartments, not 4 2 1-bedrooms and 2 2-bedrooms. What's the studies for, rental?
Sometimes the kid have a study room for them, or the adult can have their own creation room for the job or for the business.
What you want in the record is to say you have 2 1-bedrooms on the first floor,
Yeah, 2 1 bedroom for
2
each.
bedrooms on the second floor,
No, 1 bedroom for the second floor for each unit, and the 3rd floor.
and then the third floor,
Yeah, it's a
1 bedroom for the
yeah,
master
each, yeah.
upstairs and the
Yeah, for
attic.
each
Right, the way it
unit.
is. But it's 2 2-bedroom units and 2 1-bedroom units.
2 bedroom and 2 1 bedroom, yes, sir.
So you're telling me those studies are not gonna be used as bedrooms?
No.
Huh?
No.
You're on the rope, you swear to that, correct?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
It's not according to using a 2 bedroom.
Put that in the record that there'll be 1-bedroom units and they'll be advertised as such. And I see you keeping the same footprint in the home. The only thing you're changing the layout, you're adding that 1 bedroom, moving the other one, and then the 2 1-bedrooms are upstairs. Any questions?
The 1-bedroom units are in unit 1 and 2.
Yes, sir.
And 3 and 4 are upstairs, second and third floor, they get the master upstairs.
Thank you.
No question.
Frankel, Mr. Raydell?
I have none.
Thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to take a seat? Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor? Speak in favor, first call, second call. Third call closed. I have a letter here from the DPW. Dated June 29, 2016, read 1214 Bench Street, case number 16043. Reviewed the submittal on the reference project. Our comments are as follows. Specify how much impervious area will be increased through the development, provide plans showing the existing site conditions, layout of utilities, grading, drainage, and construction details. 3, provide dimension, grades, paving area of all driveway entrances. 4, the proposed parking layout does not provide adequate traffic movement. In addition, upon completion of the project, as built showing all utilities, building footprints, reference bound benchmarks, defining the total site facilities, right-of-ways needs to be submitted and signed by a professional land surveyor, professional engineer. If there's anything else, please advise. Is there anyone here opposed or undecided? First call. Second call. Third call closed. I mean, it's keeping the same footprint in that. The only thing I want in the record is, you know, that there's gonna be 2 one-bedrooms on the first floor. And the other 2 units will be 2 bedrooms. Personally, I'll be voting in favor. I don't have a problem with that. It's just as long as you're not turning studies into bedrooms and you have no parking down there as it is. Those are my comments. Let's go, Brian. There's 2 2-bedrooms and 2 1-bedrooms.
Just the 2 one-bedrooms on the first floor, and the 2 2-bedrooms on the second. And the third, right?
Yeah, and there's 2 studies in there. Everyone comes up with studies from the building
Likewise, with the restrictions, I'll be voting in favor, Mr. Chairman.
Jim,
I'm voting in favor.
Mr. Frankel,
In favor.
Mr. Raydell, comments? Have a motion, please.
Mr. Chairman, regarding case number 16-043, Tammin Lee and Christine Lee for a variance to add a 1-bedroom to the multifamily home for a total of 6 bedrooms on the premises number 12 to 14 Bent Terrace, Quincy. I'd like to make a motion to grant the requested variance with the following conditions. That the first floor units be restricted to 1-bedroom unit only.
Second.
And that the DPW review request be complied with.
Second,
Second.
on the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Further on to tonight's new business, case number 16044, Jim Ming Pen, Zane Dan Chen for variance finding construct 2 dormers on the existing structure, 49 Walker Street in Quincy. Is the applicant representative here? Step forward, name and address for the record, please.
My name is Xiaodan Chen.
Can you speak up so everyone can hear?
My name is Xiaodan Chen. I'm living in 49 Walker Street, Quincy.
And what is the reason for putting the dormers on the property?
Because I got 3 children and I live in, right now I live in 2nd floor, and the 2nd floor just got 3 bedrooms, so there is no study room and playing room, so this is why.
So here's what I'm looking at this. You're looking for a family room upstairs? Is that what you're looking for?
Oh, no, study room and play room.
A playroom,
Yeah,
A
and
family.
study room.
a family room, a playroom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and study room.
So there's gonna be no sleeping on that dormer. No, I just asked.
Because I got not enough space.
Questions are, if you run the rope, I'm asking if you're gonna turn that into a bedroom. No.
No.
So the 2 dormers will be in the back of the home.
Yes.
Is that correct? So you won't see them
Yeah.
on the street?
Right.
All right. I just want to square those off with these 12 roofs. I have no further questions.
No questions at this time.
No question.
Raydell?
I have not.
Thank you. You can have a seat. Is there anyone here that likes to speak in favor? Speak in favor. First call. Second call. Third call closed. I have a letter here from the DPW. Case number 16044, June 27, 2016. We reviewed the above referenced project and have no comments. Is there anyone opposed or undecided? Opposed or undecided? Second call. Third call closed. I'm going to put 2 small dormers in the back. So that'd be both in favor.
Want the restriction?
Yeah, no bedroom, no living on it.
I'll be voting in favor with the restriction.
Frankel?
No. In favor.
Mr. Raydell?
I'm in favor.
Have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, regarding case number 16-044, Jin Peng Man Pan and Zhao Dan Chen for variance finding to construct 2 dormers on the existing structure on the premises number 49 Walker Street. I'd like to grant the requested variance finding, subject to the following condition, that that the units that are gonna be used as dormers are not used as bedrooms.
Second,
Second.
on the motion? Opposed? So moved. Franklin, you're not in favor, is that correct?
No, I was.
Oh, I thought you said you're not.
There's no
Okay, I
objection.
asked her to.
Sorry, no objection.
No, okay, thank you. Thank you. Further on to tonight's agenda, 16046, Ann Lawler for variance to renovate and construct an addition on the second floor on the premise number 81 and 83 Davis Street in Quincy. Is the applicant and their representative here?
My name is Pat Fisher. I'm the architect for the project. I'm with Fisher Associates in Weymouth. This is Mary Lawler, and this is her son, Sam Lawler. First, I'd like to present to you a revised site plan.
When did this?
We had the
when was
back
this done?
stoop. We had the back stoop being the correct size on the original site plan.
We had what?
The back stoop,
Yep.
it's shown slightly incorrect on the original site plan. I just want to make sure we have it completely correct.
Let them split those so we can have one for the,
Mrs. Lawler has lived in this house since the 1990s. She lives here with her son's family. What she would like to do now is renovate the attic of the existing house so that her son's family can live on the second floor. It's an existing 2-family house. There was a tenant on the first floor. Her son's family will live on the second floor, and we will now have a second story of the second floor apartment.
who's living on the first floor?
She is tenant.
Okay.
Do you need the name?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the renovated attic space now, which will be the second level of unit number 2.
It'll be a third floor.
Yes, right, it'll contain living space for Mrs. Lawler. It'll be a master bedroom suite with a sitting area. And then the intention is when Mrs. Lawler no longer lives there, her son and wife will live in the master bedroom, and their expanded family will live in all the bedrooms on the second floor.
The way I look at the plan, it looks like they're putting a whole third floor in it. With dormers on both sides,
Yeah.
all the way back. You have no parking on that area. You got one driveway, and you're turning this into a 3-family house. Really, I mean, you got 3 floors, and you're gonna have, whoever moves in there down the road is gonna have all that room and no parking. When I drove down that street, there's no parking as there is. They're all on the street now. Can you explain?
Well, we're not adding any people to the home.
Right now,
Everybody
when you
lives there
sell a
now.
home, it's there, it's built. I'm not worrying about you people.
Right.
I'm not worrying about families living there. My problem is, after it's sold, now you have more space, more bedrooms, more people, more cars. Where do they go when you have one driveway? You don't even have parking for the people that live there. You really don't. There's one driveway. Where does everyone park down there now?
There's actually only one additional bedroom. There's only,
On the first floor. I'm just saying, right now, the first floor. You have a tenant,
yes.
probably a couple cars. Anyone that moves in, you're gonna have a couple, second floor, a couple cars. Where do they park now?
Well, all 3 of us, the second floor, and we all park in the driveway now. So there's 3 of us.
So
that
your
park in the driveway.
first floor and second
Second
floor
floor
park?
and second floor, all of us, we park in the driveway. And there's 2,
It only looks like there's 2 spaces because of the way the gate comes out to go back. No one drives down. It's never been driven on. I was there twice. No one drives in there. 3 cars don't fit in there. 2 cars fit in there.
No, the gate's down now.
Yeah.
And so there's 2 of us now, so now that the space will go all the way back. Space for 3
Space
cars.
goes all the way back to you people. Where do the people in the first floor live?
They park on the street. What do they always have though? The 2
When that house gets sold, now you're gonna have people up there with more bedrooms. Where are they gonna park? Now you got 4 cars upstairs. The second floor has 4 cars, 3 cars. Where do they park? That's all I'm thinking about. The people after you, not you. Once you okay.
But there's still only
it's
3
there.
bedrooms, so I mean, I don't know if the people, I suppose,
Yeah.
can't control how people have it, there's still only 3 people.
Mhm. Any questions?
How do we prevent successes and interests? People who come to the house and live after you, who own the property, how do we prevent them from using this as a three-family?
It's not, there's only one kitchen, it's just a living space and a bathroom upstairs, there's no.
Yeah, the staircase, the rear staircase is designed so that you have to pass through the unit to get to the third floor. Yeah,
Second and third are in common.
You're all
yes,
fine.
right.
It's just that.
Yeah, because we anticipated that question, so the staircase is open, so if someone put a tenant on the third floor, they would be wanting to put a second floor apartment, so, you know, it wouldn't be safe. I mean, it wouldn't lend itself to that.
That ain't gonna happen, you're right. It'll never happen.
So you're adding a bedroom, but we're not adding parking.
Correct. Well, as of now, we're not adding people to the house. They all live there now, but, right, in the future, we can't control that.
Okay, that's what I
Right.
want to make sure.
Okay.
I don't plan on going anywhere.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be there for quite some
I
time.
was like, my joke is my next move is to Cohang's, I'm not going anywhere.
But it's not that. All of a sudden you go from the second floor to the first floor because it's a bigger unit, you can rent it for more money. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. Just, it's frank.
No questions.
Mr. Radell,
I have no.
thank you.
Well, the Wallas are a long-term Quincy family, and they'd like to remain in Quincy, and this is going to help their family situation, as well as it's going to allow Mrs. Waller to age in place in the house that she's had. And there is, you know, yeah.
No, I really did. I just wish you had more parking. To me, it's just, it don't make sense to me because you have one driveway. There's just no place to park it. For the next people, it's gonna be the next people. The next people are gonna live with that. What we say okay to. That's the problem I see. And I'm only one vote. It's just you're adding to a home with one driveway. You need 4 parking spaces now, you have 2 or 3. And that stack parking, they have no place to park, the people are there. It is what it is, it's already been there, it's already approved, and they're all up and down your whole street. The person next door does the same thing, the other person does the same thing, now what do you get in your street? Not even a place to park for the people, tenants. That's what I see.
Do we
You know what, maybe it's time to get rid of the rental and move in the house yourself. Your son downstairs and his family and you upstairs. That's just me, one vote.
Do we know that this
It's just-
neighborhood has a parking problem, or is it just?
I was down that street, and to pull on that street, there was probably like 14 cars in the beginning of that street pulling in. I had to wait twice for 2 cars to come by just to get down to your house. And then I'm looking at, no one's home. This is 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm saying, no one's even home yet.
But
Where do we
the
put
house-
the people that are all parking on that street? Now we're adding more
My house-
bedrooms to a home where there's no parking. I know it's tough.
But I'm saying my house and the house next door, they're existing 2 families. Everything else around is a single family, so I mean, I don't, you know, I don't know if you can call me Cosby, you know what I mean, but it's not like there's other
But you
units.
have a 2-family. You only have one driveway, which today would never happen. You already have something that would never happen. Just would never happen. One driveway would never happen. You wouldn't be allowed to have one driveway.
Yeah, we, just as a precedence, we brought along pictures of another house in the neighborhood that was being allowed to do exactly what the laws are allowed. Or did they do something different about their
I don't know.
parking?
Every case is different.
Okay.
Everyone has
They
different
have
parking.
parking
Some
on-
people have parking in the back of their
Right.
homes. and-
Well, no, I was just asking specifically about this one.
Well, maybe you gotta look at your backyard, and maybe there's a way to change the parking in your backyard behind the home. Take out
I
some
mean,
of
it
the-
is
Yeah,
going,
that is
that
totally
isn't part of the plan, that it will go, the driveway will go all the way through
It
and
ain't
into
the
the
plan I
back.
have.
Well, it's a driveway.
If you want to withdraw it and come back with a new plan with different parking and different that, maybe we'll take another look at it. It's just my opinion. You got 4 other guys that could say, yeah, you're on the board and you could walk away with a winner. I don't know. I know you're adding, exasperating the problem in your neighborhood. It's not fair to the people that live there.
Well, except we're not, we all live there now. I understand, but we're not,
Things change.
I know, but they
In
could also
3 months,
change.
something could happen in your family, and you have to sell that home. Something happens, you lose your job, something happens, catastrophic, someone gets sick, and houses change like that. It happens.
It does, but
It's just
then,
not fair to the neighborhood.
Can
That's
we
just
have a-
I'm only one.
We
Just
have a
saying.
motion that says this is only, this variance only stays if this family stays, and then,
I would.
then the parking has to
I
be
just couldn't
increased
do that
otherwise,
because
so-
it'll never be looked at again. It'll be tucked somewhere and it'll just never be looked at again.
So it's
There's
the
a
issues.
potential, there's a potential there to develop parking, to put another space or two in there.
In the back,
Yes,
is there a
absolutely.
way to have people come in and have all those cars off the street with that?
Well, I mean, it's on street parking, that's, as far as having everyone that lives there in the driveway, that, but all three of us park in the driveway now, and it is
It's
gonna be
stacked parking,
extended.
which is a horror show. Everyone's gotta move when someone wants to get out.
Well, that's us, we do it now, but I mean, that's, that's, we don't have a problem.
I don't know. It's just, all right, thank you.
That's way of life.
Is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor? Anyone want to speak in favor? These guys can see. First call, second call. Third call closed. I have a letter here from DPW, review the above referenced project and have no comments. Is there anyone opposed or undecided? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record, please. Up here, yeah, please.
Actually, Mike Hanifin, 25 Trask Ave. I'm actually here on another project, but I opposed to this, I apologize. But it's just the building in Quincy is getting out of control. People are pulling up on their front lawns and using them as parking spaces. It's just not something I like seeing. I was born and raised here. My family was born and raised here. Everyone here in this room wants to turn their place into a 3-family and turn around and sell it and make triple the money. I mean, of course, obviously, right? So I oppose this project because I just think it's getting out of control with the building going on in Quincy. I think that, a single family stays a single family, I think a double family stays a double family, and that's what I have to say.
It is gonna stay a two-family.
All right, well, they're asking to put on a third family, they're not gonna outlive.
No, they're asking to put on another bedroom on top of the house.
So-
That's what they're doing, and
So you
and
can
the
have that-
whole thing's gonna be domed up, so it's gonna be a
Okay.
third floor.
Okay, so what's that?
Could I
That's
have
just
your
an
address,
extra
please?
bedroom.
I didn't hear your address.
All right, you answered my question, then I got.
No, no,
I
no,
thought it
your
was,
address,
turning
your
into a
address. I need your address.
25 Trask Ave.
Thanks.
All right.
My clerk didn't get it, she asked me that.
All right, just because I believe it's like you said, when they turn around and sell, they keep saying they're gonna live there for the rest of their life. I mean, that would mean that everyone's pretty much like, if you're young enough, everyone else will be here gone when they go to sell the place, and they're gonna still be there really old, and they're gonna sell it, and it seems like they're leaning towards a 3-family, not a 2-family. You're worried about the parking over there,
It's a huge
That's just one
family,
problem.
It's what they're looking for, a whole third
a
floor.
huge 2-family.
Right.
All right, so what's the elevation actually? You can go up on a,
They're gonna keep the same ridge line on the roof,
yes,
and they're gonna bring it out.
but if they wanted to, could they go up?
If we say you go up, then you go up.
I mean,
They're not
three
asking.
floors, 4
They're not
floors,
asking.
I mean, what's the height limit? I thought there was a
2.5
35-foot height.
35 feet.
35 feet is the exact height.
Yeah, you can get almost, you can get a.
Pack in as
3.5
much as you can, yeah, that's what
3.5 story
everyone's
out
been
of
doing.
it.
All right,
35
I mean,
feet.
like I said, I'm on another situation here, just, as long as it's not turning into a 2-family to a 3-family.
No.
No,
That's
it's
all I
not.
care about.
They're
That's all I
putting
wanna
a
make
third
sure it's
floor.
nice and
They
clear.
don't understand, they're putting a whole third floor on.
A third floor, so in the future, I'm not talking to her, that's out of order.
Yes.
As far as, could that be sold in the future as a 3-family? It can, that's in writing with the city of Quincy.
It's a
and-
family.
Okay.
No bathroom, there's no.
Yeah, so I can go up another floor and just say, oh, I'm not gonna do that, I'm just gonna, okay. I just wanna make that clear, thank you. Chairman. I
Thank you,
appreciate it. Thank you.
appreciate it. Anyone else opposed or undecided? Second call, third call as part of the hearing closed. To me, it's a whole third floor, and I'm just not gonna do that to the neighborhood. I mean, one dome is one thing, to get some room up there for a room, to dormer out the house, I'm not in favor, I'm just not. I'll be voting no. So Brian,
Because of the existing parking conditions on all the streets up there, it's not just that one. 2 or 3 other streets up there have the same situation. You can find some additional parking. Get a car, another car or two into the back of the house, and I'd reconsider that. As of now, I have to say no.
I don't see the hardship here, except for the neighborhood. The parking situation, so I would be voting no.
Franco?
Mr. James, the parking is awful. I don't have any doubt that you all have handled it among yourselves, but what point that Rankin was making and that is bothering me is that when you do eventually leave, and the next person in there puts 5 people in their two-family, and they don't want to stack park, and they don't all want to get along and have to do that, they're gonna flow it out into the street so they can back in and back out and not have to deal with the hassle that you've obviously come to a good arrangement among the family to deal with. So the cars are gonna spill out onto the road. It happens every time. So I would be opposed.
Corrado?
I think the board's spoken, but, I mean, I was actually in favor of the project. I think David Street has a problem already. I think it should be a one-way, which it's not, but I don't, parking problem, I don't think it's just relegated to this family.
Right.
And we haven't handled it as a city, so I don't think it's on, I think it's kind of somewhat unfair to just lambaste this family, but my vote wouldn't change anything at this point. So.
No, I understand, and I understand perfectly, it's great for this family. My only concern as a board member here is we're watching out for the city of Quincy and the people in the parking, that they have to get up in the morning and find a parking space or come home at night and find a parking space.
I don't disagree, but if you go down that street, you looked in those driveways,
Yeah.
half those driveways were empty. When I went down it and there was nobody, the streets was packed and the driveways were empty, so.
Because they don't park, because they don't want stacked parking, and I get that, I get it.
Just
I
this-
get it,
yeah.
I do get it, but
It's a city
do we
enforcement.
exasperate that problem on that street with a whole third story?
I-
I'm not saying it's them, it just makes it tough, it just makes it tough for everybody, because if we say yeah now, do we do that for the next 4 homes on that street, and now what do you have? Now you have 7 people living in that second floor, because you got more bedrooms. That's the problem. So, I will give you the opportunity, the chair here, to withdraw without prejudice. You have to come back with a completely different plan. Or you can vote on it, and you can take it through the appeal process if you like.
Well, what we'd like to do is withdraw and come back with a parking plan for your approval. Because we do have the room,
All right,
and it was their intention, but we didn't realize it would be such an issue.
all right. So maybe we can figure something out down the road. That'd be great. Maybe we can figure something in the backyard. Can I have a motion to withdraw without prejudice, please?
Mr. Chairman, regarding case number 16-046, Ann Lawler for a variance to renovate and construct an addition to the second floor of the premises numbered 81 to 83 Davis Street, Quincy, I would like to make a motion to withdraw without prejudice.
Seconded? On the motion, seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? So moved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further on tonight's agenda. Everyone's here for West Street?
Yes.
There you go. Case number 16047, West Street Properties LLC for a variance finding to remove the existing 2-family home, replace it with 8 townhomes on the premises R264 West Street. Is the applicant and representative here? Counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is Edward Fleming. I'm here on behalf of Stephen Bayless of West Street Properties LLC. In addition to that, Mr. Bayless has put together a professional development team. The architectural plans were prepared by Charlie Bamberg. The site engineer, Greg Tansey of Ross Engineering, completed the site plans, as well as a stormwater management plan and report that was filed with the planning board as part of the site plan review process, which is also a permitting agency regarding this matter. If I can, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to go through a little bit of the background and the proposal. I'm going to be essentially the presenter tonight. Mr. Bayless is here as well, but this matter has been presented to the planning board. Just by way of background, 264 or R264 West Street is a 28,000, almost 29,000 square foot parcel of land. It's a very large parcel of land. It's set back from West Street and is serviced by a 20-foot access right-of-way. A number of years ago, back in the 40s or 50s, this lot was created. And when it was created, the parcel out front, there was a right-of-way granted to the back lot where the house was then located. It's a large 2-family house, about 5,000 square feet, about 2,500 square feet of living space. In that house, there's 8 bedrooms and about 4 bathrooms. It's a big, old house, over 100 years old. And it's very deteriorated. When Mr. Bayless bought the house, he looked at the possibility of renovating or remodeling the house to utilize the house in some fashion. The house has 6.5-foot ceilings. The house is so deteriorated that it really didn't make a lot of sense to do so for the market rate residential living that he was hoping to provide. So he came up with this proposal, and that I would make tonight. As I indicated, Mr. Chairman, this matter has also been filed with the Zoning Board of Appeals. With the Planning Board. The Planning Board has site plan review authority and approval over this project, and that has been instituted and underway. We had our initial hearing with the Planning Board, at which time a number of neighbors appeared and raised concerns and questions, as well as some questions were raised by the Planning Department. And the matter was continued now twice for the purpose, it will be appearing again before the Planning Board tomorrow night. During that time, we've been working through all of the issues and comments that have been raised by the city's departments, both the DPW department, health department, fire department, and most importantly, issues related that were raised by Woodard & Curran. Woodard & Curran was hired by the city as an independent peer review consultant to review the project. And they reviewed all aspects of the project, questions that were raised by the neighbors, questions that were raised by the city departments, including matters related to site circulation, drainage, and those matters. And Woodard & Curran just on I think the 6th of this month issued a final approval letter. And that letter has been provided to the Planning Board indicating that the applicant has met all of the comments and questions that were raised and responded to those appropriately so that the matter is appropriately.
All drainage on site?
All drainage will be managed on site. So let me just walk through, if I may, just the proposal in its terms. So Mr. Bayless is seeking to remove the existing deteriorated large home and replace it with 8 townhouse-style units. Those units will be located in 3 different buildings. One building on the left of the site as you come in the driveway, which will consist of 4 units, and then 2 additional 2-unit buildings on the right side of the site with driveway and access to garages through the middle of the site. The townhouses will be 3 stories in height. They'll have mansard-style roofs to keep the height down. And an interesting aspect of this site is that it's essentially carved out in the middle of the site where the residential properties on Weston, I think it's Weston Ave, to the left, to the right, are up higher, and properties in the rear are also elevated. This site will be essentially carved out so that the buildings that are built on the site will sit into the lower area of the topography in the site. And that's shown in more detail on the topography plan that I have here tonight as well. Each of these units, as I indicated, will be 3 stories of height because under the buildings, or on the first floor, will be provided 2-car parking in a garage setting. In addition to the 2 cars that will be provided per unit, there's additional 5 additional visitor parking spaces that are laid out on the site as well. So what that results in is 2.6 spaces per unit, far in excess of what the ordinance requires, and really taking into consideration the concerns and questions that the neighbors raised to ensure that there's enough parking on this site, that there will not be overflow parking related to the concerns you just raised, Mr.
And there's still parking in front of the garage too, correct?
And there's still parking in front of the garage, although the hope would be that the parking, existing laid out parking will be plenty.
People coming over, they could even pour it.
Absolutely, and there's actually a carve-out area where that was left on the site, or created on the site, in the middle of the site. It's located right in here where we indicate no parking. And the purpose of that really is to allow a fire apparatus to come into the site and then turn around and leave the site going forward. And that area can be used, although we're going to try to discourage parking there long term, it can be used for short-term visitor parking as well, so you have additional parking spaces there. But we have these 5 line spaces as well as the garage spaces. And that was really, and the parking that's provided on this proposal was done specifically to respond to concerns that the neighbors raised about making sure there's enough parking for this particular proposal. So we think that we did so here. And that brings me to the point that when we initially had a neighborhood meeting on this proposal, Mr. Bayless was proposing 11 townhouse units. We had a great neighborhood meeting that was hosted by Brian Calmucci, the city councilor. A number of these neighbors that are here tonight were there as well. And they raised concerns about density, they raised concerns about parking, they raised concerns about landscaping and other matters, all of which we believe we took into heart before we even filed this matter before the zoning board and before the planning board, by reducing it from 11 to 8 units, by creating more parking on the site, by changing the layout of the site that allowed for additional landscaping. There was comments raised by neighbors saying, well, if I look down the driveway, what am I gonna see? And so this landscape strip in the front here was created so that when you look down, where you now see cars parked in the, haphazardly parked in the parking, or in the driveway for the house, now you'll see landscaping that will actually hide some of the units, certainly the larger 4-unit building. And there's additional landscaping here as well. So those types of matters were really done specifically in response to concerns that were raised by the neighbors. Other concerns, and I know a neighbor raised a concern about runoff, and we started talking about that briefly, but runoff right now simply runs down the driveway, uncontrolled, and it runs into the street. Well, now the runoff is going to be controlled on site with a modern stormwater management system, all of which has been reviewed by Woodard and Curran, commented on pretty substantially, and approved by Woodard and Curran. So again, we feel like we
Did they pitch the driveway a little so it all runs into anything
Yeah,
the driveway system goes into?
What we created is a swale. There's also landscaping strip that will be created on both sides, that where water will be directed into those areas. There's a catch basin provided throughout the site that will prevent a lot of the water from running off the site initially. All the roof drains and things of that nature will be controlled and dealt with in that way. The other, and I think one of the more important concerns that were raised by the neighbors, was also that there would be a conflict in the vehicles leaving and going to the property, because that the driveway wasn't sufficient, they believe, to adequately to provide sufficient width for the cars to park. So on this plan, we created a highlighted of that particular driveway. What the neighbors see now is not what will be there when the property's developed. What they see now is probably about a 12-foot driveway that services only the house. The access right of way is actually a 20-foot access way that allows the applicant to expand that driveway to 20 feet. And we showed on this diagram that 2 cars can easily pass each other, so that it would not require cars to back up onto the street, which is a comment that the neighbors made during their earlier presentation.
Rightfully so when you see it now.
Absolutely. And what's also not clear to the eye either is that this site is a 29,000 square foot site. It goes back very deeply into the site. In fact, this site's only going to be developed to this area, and there's still another 55 or 54 feet behind that. That's all wooded. Right.
Okay.
And many of in fact, there was a letter issued by Chris Cassani today from the Park Department, because we met with him on the site. And all the trees that are going to be removed from this area are all scrub trees. And I could show you a copy of his letter indicating that really he believes that the new landscaping, the new trees that will be planted will be much better than what's there today. And all the mature trees in the back will remain unaffected.
That's how I was looking at the back, there's some big trees back there. How many are you going to take out?
So what's being requested today by way of relief is what I actually requested a finding, because it's a non-conforming lot as it sits today, but I also requested dimensional variances to allow for the buildings to be set back in the fashion they are, and the lot size per dwelling unit, and the FAR. And I want to comment on that really quickly, because there's concerns that were raised by the neighbors that this is a very dense, overdevelopment, there's too much development in the city. But this site, this proposal is not dense. And it's certainly not dense compared to other proposals that have been before this board. What this proposal provides for is 3,551 square feet of land area per dwelling unit. Significantly more than a lot of other proposals that have been made before the city. And in addition to that, the 2.6 spaces per unit. So by way of example, there's some comments made by the neighbors that, oh, well, this is a single-family neighborhood, this is a small residential neighborhood. And that's true to some extent. But what also exists in this particular neighborhood is 268 West Street, which is next door, is a 10-unit building. The 12,000 square foot lot provides for 1,297 square feet per dwelling unit. 25 Schlager Avenue, which is a building behind this site on from West Street, is a 12-unit building on a 38,000 square foot site, which provides 3,195 square feet per unit. Still less than this proposal does. 96 West Street, which is a 5-unit townhouse development, which this board was probably party to and reviewed, which was permitted right on the corner of West and Sullivan, I think it is. Provides a 5-unit condominium, 2,080 square feet per unit. And then 18 Bates Avenue, which is not this neighborhood, but it's in the West Quincy neighborhood, a 5-unit development with 1,790 square feet per unit. Now, I can probably tell you 100 proposals that have happened in the downtown, and I know the downtown's different than this neighborhood, but there's other dense development. But this proposal really provides a lot of land area per dwelling unit, and a lot more than I think even the neighbors understand by looking at the site as it exists today. We really believe that this proposal, unlike other things that could be provided on the site or could be sought on the site, like an apartment building, like the ones like Schlager Building or the West Street Building, it fits much better into the neighborhood. It's much more residential in character. It's going to provide for individual ownership of these units. These aren't apartments, they're condominiums, they're going to be owned and people are going to invest in the neighborhood. And they're going to share the same concerns that the neighbors have about maintenance of their roadway and their area and the character of their street. This provides a significant amount of landscaping, as I indicated, in parking. The 20-foot right-of-way provides for more than adequate access, not only for the 2 vehicles to pass, but also for the fire department to gain access to the site. We've spoken with the fire department. We're comfortable that they are comfortable with access to the site. And lastly, it provides for significant new investment into the area. This property has really become pretty tired. It's not an attractive property. It doesn't improve the property values for the neighbors. This property, we believe, it will fit into the community and it will really improve the quality of that area.
All the roofs on there are all 412?
All the roofs, yes. Yeah. And they're shown a little better on the renderings as well.
Brings the height down.
And it brings the height down, yeah, so that there's really a low pitch on that roof. So that's the applicant's presentation. We're certainly here to answer any questions or respond to any comments or concerns that the neighbors have. I hope that the neighbors would consider the things that Mr. Bayless has done since he initially met with them.
On the drainage, can you explain what we have on site for drainage?
There's nothing. There's no controls today.
No, there's zero now, I know. It's gonna be there, that we, of course, I know there's nothing there now, it all flows down. How many, what do you have for tanks there, what do you have for?
This is what my engineer is looking at.
Is that what you're looking council?
Really quickly, I can this highlights the
Can
topography.
we just turn a little bit to the
Yeah,
left,
sure.
see if that'd be great. That's what
This highlights the topography. As you can see, this area here is almost carved out in the middle, where it sits down lower, and the topography really goes from, for example, it goes from 126 up to 141. So there's significant change in elevation, where the homes on this street here, which are residential homes, single-family residential homes, are higher, that this is going to really something down. So that provides you a little better feeling for how the site is. So this shows the drainage. We have the chambers located not only in the middle of the site, but also in this area where the additional parking would be, and the swale. They'll
So that's all
provide-
underneath the other parking too?
So this will be provided underneath the parking. And again, all the calculations were reviewed by Woodard and Curran. Shown again here.
And what are they doing on the driveway? Are they changing any pitch on that driveway at all?
There's, it's pitched to be picked up in the swale, I believe, where there's a 6-inch, this is the 6-inch water main, but there's also the swale that will pick up the water that runs off the driveway. And that was a concern, I think, raised by a neighbor down the bottom of the hill, or bottom of the driveway, to make sure that the water wouldn't impact him. And again, he doesn't have to believe that I'm telling the truth, or that our engineer is telling the truth. It's been reviewed by the city.
No, you had a planning board, plus you had the independent review that came back. And I thought there was 12 units at first. I didn't know it was 11, but I thought that was a little dense.
Yeah, and the neighbors made that clear to Mr. Bayless when we went to the neighborhood meeting. We had a nice neighborhood meeting. It was very fruitful, I thought, and he was given pretty clear direction as to where they wanted him to go. And quite frankly, when he came back with 8 units, I really felt that he had gotten to that point, that he'd get support from the.
Keeping everything on site is real important for the people down. I mean, that stuff comes down there, it must just flow out of there crazy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, everything on site.
Uncontrolled, untreated. Yep.
Any questions?
Not at this time.
Right now? Thank you, Council. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in favor? Speak in favor. First call. Step forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
Frank Floyd, 28 Western Avenue. I'm a butter. I'm actually I look out my back porch, and there it is, wicked area. And when the ladies died, I told my wife, I said, someday this is going to be developed. And sure enough, it is. But I talked to Mr. Bayless, and I saw another project that he worked with, and it came out really nice. And like the council said, he reduced the ridge line. We're up higher, and it's in a valley, and he knocked it down to 8 units. And I don't think it's really going to affect me, because my side of the street, because I'm up higher, and I think there's going to be some greenery in there. And when he knocked down the ridge line down there, so you're not going to really see much if you see anything else. Winter time, yeah, you're going to see something probably, but I'm totally in favor for it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Speak in favor?
Ernie, I'm Anthony.
Sun only shines for the cool, right, Ernie?
I know, a little problem, I got 30 Springfield Street. I'm in favor of the project. I think it's going to be an asset to the neighborhood over there. From what's there right now, the biggest part of it is going to be all off-street. You know, it's all in the back, it's off-street. You got plenty of parking back there. The traffic on the street, I heard in the past about the traffic and everything. I travel West Street probably half dozen to a dozen times a day, and the traffic isn't as bad as what's said up there. The worst I've ever seen it was a week and a half ago when the city, we had the street dug up and they had blockage there and everything. But I think that what's there right now, this project is going to enhance the property all around it, and I'm in favor of this project.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone want to speak in favor?
I do. Good evening. My name is Michael Weber. I live at 1 Garrison Ave, which is at the top of Weston Ave. I approve of this. I think it'll, if anything, it's going to be better for the neighborhood, and I hope it goes through.
Thank you. Council, you're in favor?
No, but I like to speak, so. Good evening, members of the board. I see almost tie optional. My name is Brian Pamucci. I'm the city council representative. I have the pleasure of representing Ward 4. Take my comments as they're delivered rather than as where they come in the
placement.
We get it.
You know, I felt like I had to be here because I try and get your attention. I send you letters about unicorns. Nobody writes back.
I spoke about unicorns last meeting.
Right, that's what I mean. So I just wanted to, as I typically do when I appear before you, I want to tell you what I did in terms of notification for folks so that they knew about this meeting, knew about the project in general. And I think this is the first time it's on your agenda, but it's been pending in the planning board, in front of the planning board for quite some time, and the project itself has been kicking around for a bit of time. As it relates to this particular meeting, I had sent out notification to residents on June 20th by letter, approximately 500 area residents, telling them about this hearing, encouraging them to come up, offer their opinion, and express it to you. As you may know, several folks have written me, emailed me, and any time they put something in writing, I always try and pass it over to the board. I let them know that I'm not a voting member of this board and that I'll pass along their comments. Several folks have called me and wanted to express an opinion, and even though I tell them they should express it to you, they should come here. Some folks indicated they couldn't be here. Nevertheless, I thought I would come up and kind of just give you a little bit of a background and a little bit of a sentiment from what I'm hearing from folks in the area. Mr. Bayless, first of all, is a constituent, as you know. Mr. Fleming, I'm sure, drilled home, lives around the corner. I know his partners and the folks involved with him in this venture are also Ward 4 residents. And I will say, after the community meeting, Mr. Bayless was very responsive in trying to address the concerns that residents had. You know, he did drop the number of units down by about a third. I think it went from 12 to 8, which is what the current iteration of the plan is. So I want to thank him for that. That's not every developer does that, but sometimes developers that walk in and they'll see neighbors are against it, and they'll say, well, I'll just take my chances anyways. So we appreciate his willingness. I appreciate his willingness to make an attempt to work with the neighbors and to try and address some of their concerns. Now, I wanted to report to you, as I said, the sentiment that's been expressed to me. I've had approximately 8 to 10 residents tell me they support the project and they want to see it approved. They like the design. They believe it'll be a benefit to the area. That it'll refurbish a rundown property. However, I've been contacted by approximately 25 to 30 residents who are opposed. The reasons that those folks had indicated to me that they were opposed to the project was mainly density and the impact that this project would have on traffic. I heard from some direct abutters who have issues with the driveway and the way in which the driveway is going to be situated. I encourage those folks to reach out to you, and I trust that they will, the ones who are directly negatively impacted rather than in a larger neighborhood sense. The folks who contacted me against are strongly against. Quite frankly, I think it's a frustration that's borne out due to concerns about overdevelopment of the city in general, seeing single-family homes, duplexes turn into 10, 12, 18 townhouses. We see this, more and more, and as a result, we see more cars on the road, we see more traffic, worse road conditions, and this isn't me up here pointing fingers at you because this is, the city. We're not doing. I take my responsibility in this. The city's not doing enough to meet the housing demand that we have in terms of infrastructure. We're not paving the roads at the clip that we used to pave roads at. We're not doing as good of a job as we can do in managing the traffic problems that we have across the city. And that's something that, the mayor, the city council, and the department heads have to continue to try and improve. But right now, if I had to give us a grade, it wouldn't be a good one in terms of the city meeting the infrastructure needs for projects like this and other projects of this nature. All this new growth, folks say this to me all the time, all this new growth is supposed to be good for the city, but it never lowers taxes. The taxes keep going up, people get services that are stagnant or go down. I like to always educate people about how local aid works, and there was an article in the Ledger today about how $800,000 got cut out of this budget by the governor's veto for
that was earmarked for Quincy, things that would go towards helping make Quincy a better place, helping ease the traffic burden with the ferry service, but I'll spare you. I'll spare you that diatribe. If I could speak specifically to West Quincy, South Quincy, and Ward 4, I don't know if you guys were provided with a copy of, I don't know if it was a study, it was a map that the planning director did recently. I don't know if you saw it. It was like an oversized map, and it had a location of all the new development going on in the city, and it spanned a couple of months. And this was maybe two or 3 months ago that he developed this. There's approximately 4,600 units in development in the city right now. And obviously, being the Ward 4 councilor, I care where those units are being developed, so I drew the line on that map of my border in the area immediately abutting it, and 62% of all of the units being developed in the city right now, being built in the city, are in my ward. We have 60% is being built in Ward 4. Now, that's because Ward 4 is a great place to live, as we all know, but we can't handle the infrastructure. We are having a very difficult time handling that infrastructure. And it's not just the new development, which burdens the infrastructure in the area. And again, this isn't Mr. Bayless's fault in any way, but we also, being the gateway to the city, other than perhaps the Neponset Bridge, we're the access point in and out for commuters in the city, in the morning, at night, all day long. So the roads are they're just packed. They really are. And so and the reason why I'm going down this road with you is to talk about this strong sentiment that I'm hearing from folks. And it's not just this project. It's just about every project that's being proposed in West Quincy right now, in South Quincy. There's a real problem that we're having with, one, the development, and the city not being able to keep up with the demand for development that we're seeing. And we want to encourage growth right now, and that's where it should be. I think less so in our neighborhoods. Development should be occurring downtown where infrastructure can support it. I mean, look what we're doing out here. Improvements to public transportation that are being made. And so I'll leave it at that. I think that's where the frustration and the deep sentiment or resentment against projects like this, projects that are seeking variances, are coming from. That's what I've heard from, as I said, the two to 3 dozen folks that reached out to me against this project. I think that's the motivation behind what they're saying, and I think it's unfortunate. I don't know that it's come up before you yet, but I think it's unfortunate that talk about this particular parcel has turned to a sober house. If the variance isn't granted tonight, that a sober house will be created there. And when I heard that, I called Mr. Bayless, and we had a conversation about it. And it's unfortunate that came up before the zoning board had an opportunity to act on their application. And I'll leave it at that. There's not a lot that the city can do.
Council, where'd that come from?
From Mr. Bayless, I understand.
I didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah, well, I called him when residents started calling me about it. I called him, and he said that I'm not going to speak for him, but I think that's an option that's on the table in his use of this property, which, I told him, and I've told the residents, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but the zoning board has a decision to make before that. So I feel like it's a city council meeting with how much I'm talking. I'm usually a lot, more brief.
Brief and precise.
Yeah, not this time though, Mr. Chairman. I think John's making me nervous. I've missed him over the past month. But I'll leave it at that. As I said, 8 to 10 residents called me in support of this, and another 25 to 30 called me against, and they're against for the reasons that I stated: the traffic issues, the density, and the driveway. So I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Seeing that, I have last call. Anyone in favor? All that part of the hearing closed. We got a letter here from the DPW, review the above referenced project. Comments for the planning board. We have no further comments, providing the zoning board of appeals at this time. If there's anything further, please advise. Let's take 5 minutes and we'll come back, because this is going to be a little while on the post side, I see. Why don't we just take 5?
Jeff? How are you?
last year. Up on 30.
Bathroom? Second floor.
Is there one right in? Right out, above the hall. Above the hall, oh, right. Right outside the house.
Thank you very much, thank you.
Intermission. So I have a bad memory, so when I want to see things up in my head, talking points. I always forget one. I won't create new ones, but I'll always feel like I forgot. I put in there. But I mean, it's like they designed city hall.
Maybe they're engineer, but they weren't the architect.
Oh, I mean, they had, this is a good side note, they had finance meetings on the 22nd, finance meetings on the 20th. There were all sorts of finance meetings. Recorded them all. Whoever I had was the finance, and then we had this big tall guy. They had all the stuff. No one mentioned that with a negative outcome. And there were like 3 meetings. You know why? I don't know why.
That's just a question.
You know why?
Oh, it's a question.
I mean, I know what they said that they use standards and Forbes as the agency, but it's almost
the Big Short?
It's like you don't have to, you know,
Did you see the Big Short? Did you?
Did I see what?
The Big Short? No. Watch the movie or read the book.
Well, I just had one.
I have no time for reading it.
Have you seen Veep?
Yeah.
Veep is funny. I just started watching that and oh my god, dude. That's what, you know, you want to know what politics is about. It's Veep, isn't it?
I want to ask the council where he gets his 62%.
I mean, I'm going to stop calling Milwaukee Gary.
I think he's using Forest Street.
Anyone opposed or undecided? I suppose there's a lot, so if we can just line up, please add to the person in front of you. Don't try to repeat the same stuff if you could. But I need a name and address when you come up here.
Good evening. My name is Matt. I'm from Wickford Lane, which is right across the street from where this property
Last
happens.
name?
Medeiros, M-A-D-E-R-O-S. So as a resident there, I've been living there for over 11 years, and I'm concerned, as with my wife and my 2 kids, about this. And once again, it has to come down to, once again, it's the construction. If people have been on West Street and Willard Street, you know how bad those streets are. Now we're going to rip up this to do some sort of construction. We're not paving these streets. I don't know when the last time West and Willard have been paved. And as well as, if we're looking at the amount of construction vehicles that has to do this particular house, that's a lot of equipment. We're not talking just like a small little truck. You have to demo this. It's extremely a lot of noise. And I think that's just unhealthy for this neighborhood. As well as, you know, you're talking about this home, it costs a lot of money to maybe, you know, rehab and all stuff. But I'm just looking at, look how much money he just spent on this lovely engineering firm that he had and all this nice and, you know, 8x10 glossy photos and, you know, the drawings and all that stuff. I mean, you could have really done a nice job of making it a nice 2-family home in which I think would help make it a better neighborhood. It's a very nice, there's a lot of families that live near there. And I think there would have been a better use of that particular property. And I agree, I think also too, if we're doing some serious construction, I'm concerned about, you know, what's going to happen. I mean, if they're going to hit rocks, there's a lot of granite there, you know, there have to be, you know, is there going to be a dynamite? I don't know, and that could be a big possibility. And
once again, that's, I think would be, you know, concern to maybe the water table. There is a well not more than probably 200 feet to the left of that particular property. So those are some of my concerns, and I think that, you know, once again, we're building way too much in this particular area of West Quincy. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mike Canafin, 25 Trascan. Again, thank you very much. They kept on talking about how dense, you know, this could be and everything. We have apartment buildings on West Street, up on Slagger. I mean, when is enough? I feel I'm totally against this project. If you buy a single family, I think you should stick to a single family. Buy a double family, you stick to the double family. You can renovate it, flip it, make money. Short money, it's not as much as money as he probably wants to make, you know, but I mean, how much is enough, like I keep saying? As far as the construction goes, to my right, I live on 25 Trask Ave. The simple project, it's a single family. They tore the roof off, went up, looks beautiful. You know, I had no problems with it. I got a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. You know, if anyone has kids here, they have nap time, and there's been nothing but drilling and smashing and banging all day long. You know, Monday through Saturday, sometimes on Sunday. But my main concern is you got 8 units coming from a two family. 8 units. That's 8 cars. You know, times 2. Every family around in Quincy knows if you live in a house, you can afford a house. You have 2 cars. At 16 cars, you want to talk about is a simple in and out on that. You know, 1 car can pass 1 car in and out, no problem. I doubt that. I highly doubt that, because coming up on Slag and coming down on Trask Ave, they turned it into a one-way in the wintertime. Everyone knows when, you know, everyone's out here shoveling, there's tons of snow. It's just, where are you going to put all the snow? You're going to dump it in your neighbor's yard? I mean, do you have a dumping spot for all the snow? Take it with you? Where are all these construction trucks and cars, everyone that's going to come work on this site? Where are they going to park? Do you have enough parking on the site? Because in front of my house, to my right, we got a house that's going up 1 floor. I got 12 cars out there every single day. 12 extra cars, just for a single little 1 floor going up on a single family. What's going to happen with 8 units? I mean, to me, that you're telling me that there's going to be, I mean, if these guys next to me can't carpool, I don't know if they don't like each other or what, but if they can't carpool, what is this going to be like? I mean, do they have an agreement with Shea Rink, the ice rink up the street, to park in their lot? I mean, does anyone have any of these answers, you know, to provide for all these neighbors are here away from their families tonight, because obviously we're against this project. I think basically what I'm getting at, if you buy a 2-family, do whatever you want with it. Just keep it a 2-family. That's what I really would appreciate if you just stuck to that, because to my left, I had a house that just sold. It was sold as a 2-family / 2-lot. They're going to be doing the same thing this guy wants to do. And then I'm just getting done with my 2 young kids listening to this noise all day. As soon as they're done, they got a 1-year lease over here. They're going to be ripping that down and doing the same thing. I mean, when is enough? How much can you possibly build? You're quadrupling the amount of water you use, the sewage, the rubbish huge. You know what I mean? This is all our tax money. All our money goes towards this stuff. I don't know. I mean, I could sit up here for hours. We all want to get out of here. I totally opposed to it. I'm against it. I hate it. And I just want to make sure I say that nice and clear. Thank you very much for having us.
My name is Steve Conlon, 254 West Street, and I approach the bench. Sure. And this is a letter I turned into the last council meeting with some photos. My copies, so sorry.
Sorry, we just have. Thank you.
Could you speak up, attorney? Sure. First time I've done this, so bear with me. My name is Steve Conley, and I own 252, 254 West Street. I purchased this property in 2003 from Ruth Jones, the city nurse. My property directly abuts this project. At the last meeting, I submitted the letter you have in front of you for my opposition of the project. My issues with the amount of units in a 28,000 square foot lot and how it would adversely affect the neighborhood. The number 1 concern I had at the time when I wrote that letter a couple months ago was parking. You have 8 units and 5 guest spaces. Are you telling me on Super Bowl Sunday that those overflow of cars, when people have them over, aren't going to end up on West Street? It's highlighted in the letter I wrote. Snow removal was another one, and obviously the impact of traffic, headlights on the neighbors across the street. During the construction, drainage is also a major concern. The grade is higher than my house. As you said, there's nothing in there now. Where is that water gonna go? There is an old well, I guess, according to Luke Jones, that is on that property. What is gonna happen to the water that's underneath that, I'm not sure. It is my understanding that the issue tonight is an application for a hardship. And again, I'm a layman, this is all new to me, learning in the last couple of days. A hardship is granted for 3 reasons: land shape, topography, and soil conditions, which are none of the project's issues. In the last 48 hours, my concern went from what's best for the neighborhood to personal, and that's why I'm here tonight. Approximately 1 year ago, Mr. Bayless approached me and offered to purchase 6 feet of my property for $15,000. I declined his offer. I've had several conversations with Mr. Bayless about the project since that time. These conversations including putting up fences, bushes for the neighbors to make the project a little better. On Sunday, a neighbor contacted me and asked me if I had seen the survey's markers on my property. I had asked him what a survey marker was, I didn't know. One of the survey nails was in the center of my driveway. You can see some of the pictures right off the bulkhead, about 7 feet from my house. So after the neighbor explained to me what they were and what that meant, I called Mr. Bayless. Mr. Bayless told me, quote, the property line's the property line, there's nothing I can do. I need that land. So basically those nails indicate that what the attorney didn't tell you is he's saying that that property line is going to cut out half of my driveway, adversely affecting the value of my house. And he's going to build a road, or I'm not even sure what he's going to build.
What property is that? Here,
That's,
right?
I believe that's mine.
Oh,
That driveway is mine.
this driveway?
No.
This one?
Yes, sir. With the
Yeah.
car in it, this is my driveway.
And where you saying, where's the nails? I don't see no nails there.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did that good a camera. Right off the bulkhead in the middle of the driveway. He's saying that that is his property. I disagree vehemently. I spoke with the former owner of the house, Ruth Jones. She stated she purchased the house in 1980. Ruth Jones further states that when she purchased the house from Viola O'Brien, whoever that is, in 1980, the driveway existed exactly as it is represented today. I purchased the house in 2003, so that's 13 years. Consulted an attorney, which I plan to retain. That's called adverse possession. And tacking on those 2 years goes well beyond 20 years. There's an irrigation system in the strip of grass. You can see right along here. Ruth Jones put in. That irrigation runs every night. I pay for the water that comes out of that. I have for 13 years. Ruth Jones did it for many years prior to me. There's a tree at the front of the property on one of those pictures. Apparently that tree is going to be either dead or taken down, according to Mr. Bayless's plan. The attorney never mentioned any of that. A right-of-way exists for the property Mr. Lamb owns, but constitute a narrow right-of-way for access for a 19th century home, very old home, and has no frontage. It is not built for a multi-unit project. It seems like a complete overreach. I believe this project is nothing more than greed, attempting to force the most amount of condos in the smallest amount of space to make the most amount of money. And what cost? The cost is to me, Mr. Lamb, Ed McDonough, all the abutting neighbors, while Mr. Bayless makes money. He's taking away from my property. At minimum, I have a property line dispute, at the very minimum. I have also hired a surveyor. The surveyor looked at some of the maps from the 1800s. The house is pretty old. He's already located a discrepancy. And obviously this just happened Sunday, so we need a little bit more time before the full surveyor comes out. But thank you very much. I vehemently oppose the project. Obviously this is, in my opinion, my property, and he is encroaching on it. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Frank Camerata, and I live directly across the street from this proposed project. And I am dead set against this for a number of reasons, and I'm hoping that this zoning board of Appeals will listen to what the city council member has stated, as well as the vast number of people here that are in opposition to this project. And I come to you in a very respectful manner. I would like to point out that while some of the people that were in favor of this, hi, Mr. Aiken, I was wondering, just if I could for 1 second, totally unrelated to this, could I speak with you for 10 minutes, perhaps, after this meeting?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Aiken. As I was saying, a number of people, and there weren't a large number, that spoke in favor of this project. It should be pointed out, and I think rightfully so, that they are either working for the city or they are related to the owners. Now, there was a gentleman over here who made a compliment. I noticed that most of the people, I think there were 3 people who spoke in favor of it, and I noticed that they're gone, which is neither here nor there. But this gentleman on Western Ave says, well, I'm up high, he says, and it doesn't really affect me. Well, that's very interesting, because I live directly across from there, as does the Foys and other homeowners. And I'm low and wet, and I don't want to get any wetter. I would also like to present to you, respectfully, that the lawyer or the attorney for the proposed developer threw out this parking. And although that did come up, and I don't want to totally diminish that, that's a red herring, okay? Because the main problem there is the traffic. You also had that 1 out of the 3 people that spoke in favor of this say, well, I drive by there 6 or 8 times a day. Well, and it's not bad other than the last week when they were doing a little renovation on the street. Okay? Well, I live there 24/7, and I've lived in this location for over 20 years. And I've been a resident of Quincy for 60 years. And the traffic from Willard Street down, you're gonna hear plenty tonight, so I don't wanna take all of the thoughts away from other people. I go between 7, I'm having some construction work done. You try to get out of the driveway, starting down past to, you're going to hear another resident speak, 3 blocks away, 5 days a week, between 7 and 8:30 in the morning, and you try to come up West Street and go up to Willard Street between 4 o'clock and 5:45, and you will see traffic, and it'll be a lot different impression than someone who got up here who doesn't live on the street and says, I travel by this 6 or 8 times a day. Okay? Traffic is a major concern. I'm also concerned about the water naturally. But I'm also concerned, and my neighbors is concerned to the point she couldn't come tonight, that with this skinny driveway that they allegedly are going to expand by some miraculous powers, comes directly down, and those headlights are going to shine directly into our windows. And my neighbor said, if this was ever approved, and hopefully with all respect it won't be, she's putting up a big mirror in her window. Now, yeah, so it will shine right back into their face. There's a reason why this project is before the Zoning Board of Appeals. And the reason why is because they're trying to use this in a particular way that's not allowable under the regular business procedures, the business zoning, what have you. I would like to say very respectfully to you people that there is no hardship. The only hardship here, this was bought as a two-family home. The only hardship here is this proposed pie in the sky financial hardship for someone who wants to make a buck off the property at my expense and all of these residents' expense. And it's just not right. We come to you, I come to you with respect and ask you to please do the right thing. Stick up for the residents. More residents by far are in disfavor of this. And I humbly and respectfully ask you to consider my thoughts very much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Renee Tchaikovsky. I live at 6 Wickford Lane. My house is on the corner of Wickford Lane and West Street. I'm approximately 5 to 6 houses down on the opposite side of this proposed project. Mr. Akins had said try not to say the same thing as the neighbors. So far, I think the neighbors have covered a lot of my thoughts that I had. A lot was the traffic. Recently, I had family from out of state and who lives in a very large metropolitan area and all the traffic, and said, what's going on the street? And I said, oh, that's a daily occurrence. I can't get out of my street. I live on 6 Wickford Lane, not even a West Street address, and I cannot get out at 7 to 8:30, 9 in the morning. Or I sit there and I've timed it sometimes up to 10 minutes if somebody will let me get out. So traffic is a huge issue. If this driveway, originally it sounded like it was going to be one width. I don't know where it's going to go by 2, but if the traffic is so backed up both ways on West Street and somebody's trying to go up the driveway and come down the driveway, and it's going to happen, when will they get out? Just like, when do I get out of my street? But in addition to all of those, people talked about, you buy a 2-family, you know it's a 2-family, then do something with the 2-family. I bought a single family outside of the city. We're renovating it. We're keeping it a single family. Stop coming to the zoning board and looking for an appeal for every piece of property that somebody buys to make the buck. I'm gonna make a buck. I didn't ask for 3 or 5 townhouses in the area I'm renovating in. In addition to that, Mr. Akins made some good points on the Lawler case. And I think the thoughts he said, as well as what Mr. Riddell and Mr. Palmucci said, also should apply to this. Mr. Akins had to wait to get down the street of Davis because of all the parking. Well, I have to reiterate, wait to get out of my street because of the traffic. You say, Mr. Akins, it wasn't fair to the neighborhood to add that master bedroom on. Well, it's not fair to us and our property values and our lifestyle that we currently live there. And Mr. Riddell and Mr. Palmucci, there's a whole issue with parking. The city doesn't deal with it. There's a whole issue with overdeveloping. The city hasn't dealt with it. I'm not saying again it's any of your fault, but Mr. Akins said, do we exasperate that problem? Do we increase it by giving Mr. Bayless what he wants to make the almighty dollar and make everyone else upset? I'm not going to continue on because a lot has reiterated and there's a lot of neighbors waiting to speak, but it affects a lot of people. And Attorney Fleming, every other sentence he presented was the concern by the neighbors. Well, we worked with that, the concern by the neighbors. That alone should tell you there's a lot of concerns by the neighbors, and anything looks great on paper, but when it comes to actuality, it'll be a lot worse. Thank you, and I oppose the project.
Thank you.
So Allison Rosenthal, 227 West Street, and I live next to Renee. I also oppose this project for many of the same reasons, traffic being a huge one, but also for overdevelopment and setting precedents on this lot. Almost 8 years ago, a similar situation occurred across the street from me, in which she was trying to develop. I don't remember the specifics, but it was one house, one family, wanted to build many units, maybe 7 or 8. That was shot down. But my fear is that should this get approved, there are several deep lots on West Street on the other side of across from me, that I fear that should this get approved, setting precedent, and then the next one will get approved, and the next one. And it will no longer be a street of single and two-family houses, it'll be a street of townhouses or condos, much like a main street like Willard or any of the busy, main streets. It will take away the character of the neighborhood. There are a lot of people with with families and young kids, which I have. Cars is flying by, I have to, make them promise me they'll hug the fence if they're going to take a walk to a neighbor's house. They can't play outside, the cars are speeding by, they're likely to get hit. They have to stay in the backyard. I'm afraid that it's taking away from the character of the neighborhood. It's gonna be too much development. You're not gonna know your neighbors. It's nice to actually see even more of my neighbors out here tonight. So it's precedent, it's traffic, parking, yes. The overflow of the snow in the winter, where's that gonna go? That's gonna create more of a parking issue. And I just feel like the argument that there are already apartment buildings and condos in the area, I don't think that is a good reason to just keep building more. I think we should try to clean up West Street, make it look nice, not crowded, and add to the traffic problems and the parking problems, etc. So I oppose it, and I sincerely hope as well that you'll take into consideration the voices of the people that took the time to come tonight. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carrie McClellan. I live at 18 Trask Avenue, just off of West Street. And at the risk of being overly repetitive, since everyone has already voiced so many of my concerns, I think I would just like to reiterate just a handful of things. I think it is the challenges with the traffic. There's far too much traffic as we experience on a day in, day out basis. It's not an exaggeration when we say it takes 10, sometimes 15 minutes to get out of the street just to go to work in the morning or come home. When I took my right-hand turn onto West Street at the traffic light near Shea Ray, there were 28 cars waiting at the light. It's insane, the traffic levels. I have a 5.5-year-old. I'm terrified to let her out. Where is she going to ride her bike? I can't let her off the street. And a lot of us have young kids, and it's a family neighborhood. If there's single-family homes or two-family homes, we respectfully request that they remain that way. Invest in the property. This is a lovely parcel of property. Put two beautiful $600,000 or $700,000 homes. There you go. You'll make some cash that way. I think there's an opportunity to make money from the investment that doesn't negatively impact the neighborhood. But again, I think another key point is just that this continues to set precedent. If we say yes to this project, why would we say no to another one? And as Mike, who was up here earlier, mentioned, there was a two-family home that was purchased with a secondary parcel of land that they now, again, the rumors are that they want to build condos. It's directly across from my home. I have no desire for any additional units in the neighborhood. There is plenty of housing in our neighborhood and all throughout Quincy. So again, as with everyone else here tonight that is against the project, my husband and I are against the project, and I respectfully request that you deny it. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Jimmy Dalton. I live at 191 West Street. I go along with everyone here that I strongly go against this project. I think if they build there's condos up the street there. They're not condos that people live in. They're just investments for somebody. It's a stepping stone for someone to save their money to go buy a house in Braintree or Milton. They're just staying in Quincy just to be here temporarily. There's nothing solidifies them for staying here. It's just, like I said, a stepping stone. One other thing is, everyone strongly mentions the traffic. I got a videotape that I sit there in the afternoon. I don't know how to get to you guys. I don't know Bill Gates, but I can show you this thing where traffic. I live 3 blocks down, and when I say I gotta get out to a guy who's in front of my driveway, and he tells me to F off, trying to get out, I think that's ridiculous. That's absurd. I live there. This guy's just cutting through. So
They all cut through. That's the street they cut through.
16 more cars coming through. It's gonna get worse.
Right.
And I strongly again ask the board that you vote this proposal down.
Name, Mr. Dalton.
Thank you.
Can I just show you a picture? You had asked about the marker. That's the marker in his driveway. And that is his bulkhead. If you go, that shows you, but the edge of the bulkhead.
I got it right here.
Yep. I'm Ed McDonough, I live at 3/15 Schlager Ave. Again, I'm gonna skip some of most of my stuff that has been said before. This unit is set back. It's off the right of way. There is no frontage. So technically by zoning, they can't build anything. That's my understanding. Now, I live directly behind where he wants to put 4-unit, 3-story. My house is 17 and a half feet off the property line. He wants to put it 15. According to my records of zoning from Quincy, he should be 25 feet back. So he's making the driveway and entrance to his property nice and easy and convenient. And he's making, I'm gonna have a wall in the back of my house where my bedrooms are, and it goes the total way. What is that gonna do to my property value? That's gonna drop down my property cost, and that affects me. Now, it's my understanding 8 or 9 years ago, zoning in Quincy got changed to stop projects like this. You know, I'm not against projects, but he's doubled the size of the square footage that he's supposed to be putting in. I'd like to read this. I got this off the internet because he is building this off of a right-of-way. A right-of-way that he does not own. The next person coming up owns the right-of-way. A right-of-way, an easement, a privileged pass-over land of another, where the holder of the easement acquires only reasonable and usual enjoyment of the property. This right-of-way was for a driveway, not a roadway. I don't understand how he's gonna get permission from somebody who's opposing this project to dig up his property and put utilities in. That's just my saying on that. Roadway safety. He has a design of, his roadway is 16 feet, and it shows 2 cars clearly passing. And it actually shows 2 pickups. Now, I'm in the development business. Parking spaces. Normal parking spaces are 9 feet wide. So 9 and 9 is 18. So he's 2 feet shy of parking spaces, and he's showing 2 pickup trucks. I'm sure that design is on two compact cars and not as it's shown on the drawings. As his property shows, he is just shy of that tree on the first abutter's property. He's gonna dig it probably about 4 feet away from the root ball. That tree's dead. And it's my understanding that there's been no discussion on what's gonna happen to that tree on that property. Designed for a fire truck. I did a scale based on the fire truck. Average fire trucks are 8 feet wide. It shows he's gonna be going into oncoming traffic to make that swing. So that's my hearing for today.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
McDonough.
Hi, my name is Chen Lang. I live at 264 West Street.
What's your name?
Chen, C-H-U-N.
Chen?
Chen, yeah, Lang. 264 West Street. My house just in front of this development. Okay. I just want to add one more thing. The council are talking about the 10 units apartment building next to 264, which was built a long time ago. There's not much traffic. The population is not that many. And also, during the weekend, there's a party at the parking lot of the apartment building. I don't want another party behind my house. Yeah. And also, I'm suspect. This is my, I am suspect that he might try to steal my land to build the driveway. So that's why I'm strongly opposed to this project.
Where do you live?
264 now. I live
In the front of.
right here. The house is right here.
Yeah.
The house is right here. And the next page is you can see what is the mark on the part, the land. Yeah, I'm strongly opposed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Donald Orman, 22 Schleicher Ave, and I'd like to go on the record as being opposed to the project the way it stands. I would like to make reference though to another project, which is probably 50 or so yards from this proposed project, which was Willard Street had a horse stable. Got a developer, I think, did a nice job building a couple of decent sized houses on the property. That's something that I think that I would be in support of, but I think this really has just too much collateral damage to the neighborhood as it stands. So I'd like to go on the record. Thank you.
My name is Frank Sutter. I live at 29 Trask Avenue. We moved to Quincy a year and a half ago. Part of what I liked about West Quincy was it is the single-family home, two-family home. It's a very charming neighborhood, and it's what attracted us to the area. We live, the house is getting construction on. That first guy that spoke was complaining of all the construction vehicles. And we put $200,000 into the house because we too had 6.5-foot ceilings. Part of the intro that we heard about the plans was the charming 100-year-old house. We thought about renovating it and make it possible, and it is possible. It just costs a bit of money, and we can keep that original charm and authenticity of it. So there was something disingenuous to go from how can we renovate this 100-year-old house to let's put up 11 or 12 condos. It's quite an extreme change of thought process. So we've invested a lot in the area. We did put a second story on the house, and we did increase our 6.5-foot ceilings to 8-foot ceilings. And
When are you having a party?
everyone's welcome to come over. So a nice kitchen. So, so I do oppose it. It just something doesn't seem sincere about much of it, and of course many of the concerns everyone else brought up I also echo. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
My name is Ken Chu, live in 263 West Street, just wide across from the project. I know everybody's tired. I'm tired too, because this is the third time I come to this meeting. For this matter is completely out of control. Everything the neighbor already said.
The first time you've been here in this one.
Oh, okay, tonight. Thank you. All right. I just sick and tired to listen for the developer saying how old is the house, 6.5 foot clearance. Did they know that when they bought the house? I sure they know that because they didn't see that. Why? Because they got $2 sign in their eyes. They bought the house less than $500,000. They turned the project into a $3.5 million, and then they took the profit. What left for us? Trouble. Thank you for mentioning the 10 apartment building. I call the cops every other month because what? Always trouble. More people means more trouble. That's common sense. Who said a 3-bedroom unit only had 2 cars? Who said that? Me and my wife and 2 young kids. I have 4 cars. I park my driveway. 2.6 parking space. It's not for West Street. It's for some unit with the side street. You can park on the side street. But West Street is a double yellow line in the middle. 30 miles, some people driving 60 miles per hour. That's what happened in West Street. I don't think their parking space, you have a housewarming party, they're going to park on the side of the street. I'm going to call the cops, I'm going to tell everybody. That's what happened. I don't want to waste any more time. So please, turn this down. Thank you, Mr.
Let me speak in here, please. John Orfeld, 62 Brownwell Road. I just want to point out to the map, when they gave this right away right here, that was for one house. It wasn't granted for 8 different houses. That's basically what an 8 unit is supposed to be there. when I came here for this meeting tonight, coming down Dimmick Street, trying to take a right onto Hancock Street, for 3 lights in a row, the buses, no one could take a right. I had to get into that left lane and then go through a red light to take a right and cut all traffic off so I could tape this meeting and be here on time.
Sir, he's in here.
So, but I mean, my main concern is for the taxpayers of Quincy. I don't want anyone having a stroke or getting upset or losing any sleep over people trying to make some money or development. Mr. Fleming, you could help us by please bringing.
Hey, up here.
Well, I'm just saying, the main point is, well, I mean, I have reorganized the Quincy Taxpayers Association, and it's because these people are representing the mayor of Quincy. The mayor of Quincy appoints all these people, and their decisions reflect the current administration. They make decisions up here that sometimes don't make the best of sense to the taxpayers who have been there their whole lives. And it's about, last meeting, I said, you know, that was the worst decision. I think that the project on Parker Street is worse than this, so this won't be your worst decision if you say yes. But I see those same looks on your faces right now that this might get approved. Please do not approve this. The whole neighborhood has come out, and it even sounded like Councilor Palmucci was against this project. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else? Second call?
I'm sorry, can I just make one more comment?
In 1 minute.
Sorry. Okay.
Is there anyone here that likes to speak that hasn't spoken? You may speak, ma'am. Please come up and address the board. Thanks.
Sorry, and I should have mentioned this before. Again, Carrie McClellan, 18 Trask Avenue. The other thing I would like to just make a statement that Mr. Palmucci stated earlier, that the rumor going around about if this project doesn't get approved, that there would be a sober house put in, I think is abhorrent. I think it is absolutely disgraceful to try and use that as leverage, to try and, instead of having 11, we move to 8, but if we don't get 8, then we want to put a sober house in. That's like a petulant child, and I think it's disgraceful to threaten the neighborhood with something like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Last call, anyone like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
I live at 16 Montoya Street, right down the street from the project. And
name and address, please. Our name?
Tom Sullivan.
Sullivan, you have the floor.
And as everybody said tonight, is the traffic problem really bad. And then, you know, the last 10 months it's gotten worse. Now we have BU buses from Boston University coming up from the Rotary, right by, you know, West Street and right up Wilbur Street. And what they're doing, they're coming off the Rotary and going up the back way to Blue Hill and cutting in through the Shea Park and coming down my street, and because they beat the traffic because it's backed up from the lights at Wilbur Street. Okay. West Street and Wilbur Street, the MBTA buses come down there and they stop right at this project. There's a stop right at that project. Okay. And what else we're doing is we have the double poling the electrical on the street. Now, are they going to do that there at the foot of this project? You tell me. And the other thing, you can't get a wheelchair. I'm telling you, a wheelchair past these poles. Now that's against the law. The disability. I can't take a wheelchair down West Street because of those poles. And it's going to be right near that project. So I'm totally against this. Yeah, I'm for everybody making money. But it's a nice little community here. They're all single-family homes. There's kids and children. And the thing is, if they're coming up our side streets, somebody's going to get run over. And Wilbur Street is known to kill people right on Buggy Hill and Wilbur Street. So,
the sad part is, everyone that cuts through it don't live there. Yeah. That's the worst part of the whole situation. It's ridiculous.
I'm a retired guy now, and I sit at my doorstep with my little dog, and as I You can see I'm almost total death. And I come up the back road there, in the Blue Hills, and they're cutting down from the road over there. And I've almost got killed twice. It wasn't for my little dog. So, no, I'm totally against the project, and I hope you help me get this through.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Last call, is there anyone that would like to speak that hasn't spoken? Second call, please come up.
I just wanted to, my name is Matt Medeiros. I'm from Whitford Lane, as I said, right down from where this project is. And I was here earlier for the part of the meeting. And Mr. Chairman, you said you were watching out for the city of Quincy. So I pleaded, I begged for the members of the board to watch out for the residents of this area, of our ward. I'm sure if a project like this and maybe a sober house next door to you, I'm sure you'd be angry and you wouldn't be happy either if this was building in your backyard. And this is what's going to happen to us.
They built a lot in my backyard.
Right. So, once again, I ask, we're vehemently opposed to this, and
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Last call. Call up part of the hearing closed. You know, this is, Council, you're going in front of, tomorrow night you have planning?
Planning board, yes.
I wish you went there first before you came here and had that finished, but what's going on with the property lines here? Because people are saying that the property lines, I mean, I'm not against development, and you're 28,000 feet personally. Well, are we taking someone's driveway away from them or not? What's going on?
I'm not familiar exactly where the property lines are.
Well, this guy says half his driveway is going.
That might very well be the case. I mean, please understand, that's actually, he's actually on, the property's owned by the party in the front.
That's what I'm asking. Is that the right property line?
Yeah,
I
so
mean, that looks
the-
like it's 30 feet.
Mr. Lamb, that's his property, so the gentleman next door is actually on his property. The right-of-way is a 20-foot right-of-way that runs along that area. I think what Mr. Bayless did with his survey is to mark that so that it could be clearly identified as to where the driveway could be created. So yes, if that's where the property line is, that's where the development of the driveway will
I think
go.
that should be all cleared up
But-
first, so we know
but,
who's
Mr. Chairman,
going where.
Yeah, and certainly, I talked to Mr. Bayless about this, and we'd certainly reach out to Mr. Conley. If Mr. Conley has some concerns about the property line, and has retained a surveyor to determine that, Mr. Bayless will certainly work in cooperation with him. And remember, on that side of the property as well, on each side of the property line, there was a 2-foot planting bed that was gonna be created on both sides of the driveway. So if that 2 feet planting bed is eliminated, we could, in our negotiations with Mr. Conley, we can preserve more of his driveway. I don't think Mr. Bayless would have a problem with him using that 2-foot. So there's ways in which we can negotiate with Mr. Conley about that. We certainly don't want, we want to have I know that Mr. Bayless has made significant efforts in trying to work with Mr. Conley and trying to address some of the concerns that he's raised. We talked about fencing. They've had an open line of communication about a number of things. We'll certainly continue to talk with him
I
about
mean, a guy buys a house, he's got a driveway, and he thinks he owns a driveway, and all of a sudden he finds out it's not his, and now he's got parking that he don't have. I think that should have been squared away before we even came here.
It should have been noted on his plot.
Someone should have figured out where people are parking.
Well, it should have been noted on his plot plan when he bought his house.
Somebody, right. Something should have been squared away.
I mean, there's a number of property line disputes that go on throughout the country, so.
Right, and I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, all of a sudden, this guy throws a fence up there, and the guy loses his driveway, which ain't fair for anybody either, that's been parking there for 20 years, even though it is his. I mean, it's just, I think something should have been worked out with the neighbors before we sat here to know that, I don't remember the front of his house, how many spaces he has on his front of his house. Is that an extra driveway in the side? Is that,
yeah, I think
does it come in like this and go, because I forget, I mean, I was there the other day too. It looks like,
Steve, is it okay?
yeah, please.
I'm Steve Bayless, I think everybody knows who I am. I did approach Mr. Conley because on the original we bought it on the map geo, it appeared that it wasn't 20 feet. So I approached him at that point, because when I figured the house wasn't really worth renovating,
Right.
I approached him to see if I could buy a piece of land from him. So I did have a conversation with
No,
him.
I get that.
He has another driveway on the other side of the house. That is his second driveway
Oh,
and parking area. That's his second one. So he has a duplex.
So
That one
it's a
looks like it was
two-family
added.
over there.
It's a two-family. He has parking on both sides of the houses. I
so,
also spoke with him yesterday, as he can attest to try to work with him, like Mr. Fleming said. That I'm not looking to disrupt anything.
and I see the way he comes in here and what's gonna happen there, but I think you two, really, I mean, can you figure that out in a week and a half? What's the next meeting date?
26.
2 weeks? Can you two sit down and try to figure something out?
Can I also speak to the solar house thing that people have been talking about?
Yeah, because that really bothers me, really does.
When we started this, it was never my intention to do a solar house. It still is not my intention to do a solar house, okay? If this gets denied, I have to look at every option that's available. The conversation that I had was that somebody's gonna come in and buy the house. The only thing that house is good for is that situation or this situation. I invite any of you to come meet me there. I'll walk you through the house. And now you're all saying we should renovate the house, we should raise the ceiling heights. Open invite, anybody wants to come look at it. That house,
We renovated our
But
this is a 29,000
This ain't an open debate, council.
It is a 29,000 square
Somebody,
foot
he's
lot.
just
That's
explaining.
I'm trying to explain where that
No
came
back and
from.
forth, please. We don't
okay,
have time.
that was never my intention.
Wait a
It is
minute,
not my
wait a
intention.
minute, please, please. Bill, you have the floor.
It is not my intention now. It never has been my intention. I bought this property a year ago. I would not be standing here in front of you right now if that was my intention, because that is a by right thing that can be done. I would not be standing here a year later. So it's not my intention. I want to get that straight.
Sure. We can
Counselor,
certainly work with Mr. Conley and see if we
Can we
resolve
do
any
something
problem.
and then come back in 2 weeks and we'll rehash what you're gonna do for a driveway here or what, and how that's gonna work out for neighbors, if you're taking someone's driveway.
Absolutely.
It's like, no matter what happens back there, figure out what we're doing for a driveway.
Absolutely.
Where the parking's gonna go and how that works, and if you don't come up with something, that's fine.
Thank you.
Then we gotta make a decision, but something's gotta be done, you know, I mean, the poor guys are parking on that, you got a duplex, he wants people to park on both sides, now what do you do, put them in the street? That's not fair to nobody.
Okay.
We have a motion to come back to 26, please. And you'll deal with the neighbor and we'll have some more conversation at that time.
Mr. Chair,
Testimony has been completed, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, regarding case number 16-047, West Street Properties LLC, for a variance finding to remove the existing two-family home and replace it with 8 townhouse-style units on the premises numbered R264 West Street, Quincy. I'd like to make a motion to have the meeting come back in 2 weeks.
26.
July 26th.
Seconded? On the motion, seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, so moved.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded? On the motion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, so moved.